Now, look at this question. You are given the intensity of an alternating current after passing through a rectifier is given by some function. You are given current as a function of x, and you are given I naught as the maximum current, and the period you are given is 2 pi. So the question here is to express that function of current I of x as a Fourier series. Understand, you see, when you are given a function of x, you need to identify first of all uh, whether there is any break in the function, whether you are given a single function or with a break. And the second point, whether the given function is defined, if you look at, if you recall, we have several possibilities. Like, you may be given a function in the interval 0, 2 pi. If not that, you see, you may be given the function in this interval minus pi, pi. If not that, you see, you may also be given, function in this interval 0, pi. In this case, you see, when it is given in the interval only 0, pi, we find half range Fourier series. Very much similar to these three, we have other intervals like, you may have a function which is defined in this 2L length interval. May not be 0 to 2L every time, but any 2L length interval. As a special case, you may be given it something like this, minus L, L. Or, you may be given it like 0 to L. When the function is defined in the interval 0, L, again, we take it as half range Fourier series. So the most important thing while answering a question is to identify the interval. Once if you identify the interval carefully, you can write its equivalent Fourier series, and then you can find out the other values. I mean the Fourier coefficients, right? Now look at the function what you are given here. I'm just writing it for your convenience. Given I of x, quite frequently we use f of x to represent a function. But here you see you are given it as current. That's how instead of f, it is given as I here. I of x is equals to, look at the interval carefully. You are given it as I naught into sine x for the values of x between 0 and pi. And you are given it as 0 for x lies in between pi and 2 pi. Right? When you look at this interval carefully, the interval of definition is from 0 to 2 pi, the first case. When it is in between 0 and 2 pi, you can recall what is the Fourier series, right? The function is defined in between 0 and 2 pi. Therefore, if you write the Fourier series, now it is the full Fourier series, not the half range. The Fourier series now see, I'm writing it for I of x. Usually we write it for f of x, instead of f of x, now I am writing it for I of x, whatever the function you are given of I of x in the interval 0, 2 pi is, we can write it like this, you see, I of x is equals to, wherever there is f of x, instead of that now I write I, that's only change. I of x is equals to, it is a naught by 2 plus summation an cos nx plus bn sin nx. So this is the formula we use for a 2 pi length interval, for a 2 pi periodic function. Okay. Now here, if you recall a naught, where a naught is equals to, how can we write it? You see, 1 by pi into integration from, normally, we take it as from 0 to 2 pi, the function, for whichever the function you are writing the Fourier series, here it is I of x dx. But you see here, we need to evaluate the integration of I of x between 0 and 2 pi, correct? But you see, as if you look at the definition of I of x, there is a break. It is not a discontinuous function, because you see the value at pi is same, but the function has a break at pi, right? At pi there is a break. So we need to split this integral into two different integrals. I mean, we will write it like this: 1 by pi into integration from 0 to pi I of x dx plus integration from pi to 2 pi I of x dx. We take, this integral from 0 to 2 pi as sum of two integrals like this. Now let us substitute those two functions in those integrals. Then it is equals to, what you'll get, you see, 1 by pi into integration from 0 to pi. What is I of x in between 0 and pi? We are given it as I naught sin x, correct? So I'm just substituting that I naught into sin x. Don't worry about that I naught, it is simply a constant. We are given it as maximum current, maximum current is always constant. I naught sin x dx plus pi into 2 pi. Between pi and 2 pi, the function value is simply 0, So I'm taking function value as 0. So it is 0 into dx. So it is equals to, if you simplify this, see how much you'll get. It is 1 by pi into, you can actually write that I naught aside. If you keep this I naught aside, what remains is only sin x. Sin x, integration of sin x, minus cos x with the limits from 0 to pi. And when you integrate this 0, it is simply 0, right? We write it this way. When you integrate 0, it is simply 0, right? Fine. So that's what you'll get now. Then it is equals to, if you bring I naught out of that, now it is I naught by pi into, what happens, you see, you can also bring minus outside. So minus I naught by pi into, when you substitute the upper limit, cos pi, the value of cos pi is minus 1, minus, when you take lower limit, it becomes only cos 0, you see, cos 0 is also 1. Then when you add these two, you see minus 1, it is minus 2. Minus 2 into, there is a minus outside. Therefore, we'll get A naught is equals to 2 I naught by pi. Right? See, that is what you call A naught. Now, see, we need to calculate what you call AN. Right? Even write, see, while writing AN, if you recall the formula, AN is equals to, it is 1 by pi into integration from 0 to 2 pi. It is I of x into cos nx dx. Because the interval is of length 2 pi, we take it as cos nx here. Then see what we are doing, we are trying to split it into two integrals. I'm just trying to write everything directly here, you see. While splitting this, we write integration from 0 to pi. Once let me write it, then we can use it. Integration from 0 to pi I of x into cos nx dx plus integration from pi to 2 pi I of x into cos nx dx. Then see how much is this value. It is equals to 1 by pi into integration from 0 to pi I of x is I naught sin x into cos nx plus integration from pi to 2 pi, it is 0 into cos nx dx. Then see, it is equals to 1 by pi into, look at this function carefully. We have a product of two sine, what you call two trigonometric functions. I'm just writing that I naught out of this integral. When you have, sin x into cos nx, see, we have some trigonometric transformations. We need to recall them now. When it is, what you call 2 sin a cos b, it's just like sin a into cos b, So I can take it as 2 sin a cos b. So to get 2 sin a cos b there, I'm just multiplying and dividing it by 2. So that I can write it like this. You see, 2 integration from 0 to pi, 2 sin a, 2 sin x into cos nx. Plus here, this is anyway 0. Now see how it is, just like 2 sin a cos b. If you use this formula, I've already shared you one document, you see. This formula is available even in that formula. You can make use of that. When it is 2 sin a cos b, we can write it as sine of a plus b plus sine of a minus b. Correct? Now using this formula, I'm trying to rewrite this integrand. When you compare the values here, you see what happens. A is equivalent to x and b is equivalent to nx. Right? Keep that in mind. I'm continuing this in the next slide. And moreover, I can also bring this I naught by 2 out of this. Correct? So if I write all those together, an is equals to, we'll get it as I naught by 2 pi into integration from 0 to pi. See what you'll get there. When it is 2 sin x cos nx, we should write it as sine of a plus b. What is a plus b? You see here, x plus nx, right? It is x plus nx, sine of x plus nx, then plus, see how much you have, sine of a minus b. A minus b means x minus nx, x minus nx, right, dx. Now see, for my convenience, I'm rewriting it like this: I naught by 2 pi into integration from 0 to pi. I'm just trying to take x common from these terms. So we can write it as sine of 1 plus n into x, then plus sine of 1 minus n into x dx. Now see, we need to evaluate this integration. Let us just try to evaluate this integration quickly. It is equals to I naught by 2 pi. See how much you'll get when you integrate this. Integration of sine x. As you know, integration of sine x is minus cos x, you know. So here we'll get it as minus cos of 1 plus n into x divided by 1 plus n. Whatever the coefficient you have there, that comes in the denominator. And the same way, when you integrate the second term here, we'll get minus cos of 1 minus n into x divided by 1 minus n, with the limits from 0 to pi. Right now, let us substitute the limits. And before substituting the limits, I'm just trying to take this minus sign common from them. When you take minus sign common, you know, the things can be written easily. So we'll get now minus I naught by 2 pi into, see what happens when you substitute the limits for upper limit. For upper limit, you know, if you take pi, we'll get it like this. You see, cos of 1 plus n into pi divided by 1 plus n, then plus, already because, you know, we have taken minus common. Here also it is cos of 1 minus n into pi divided by 1 minus n. This is for upper limit. Minus, when you take 0, when it is x is equals to 0, it becomes cos 0. Cos 0 value is 1, you see. So we'll get it as 1 by 1 plus n, minus, if you take x is equal to 0 here, it becomes again cos 0, 1. So here also, in fact, you see this becomes plus. Why plus? Already we brought minus out of this. So plus 1 divided by 1 minus n. This is for what you call lower limit x is equals to 0. Now let me just try to simplify this. It is equals to minus I naught by 2 pi. See how much is this value? Cos of 1 plus n into pi. Normally, you know, when it is cos n pi, its value is minus 1 power n. In a similar way, when it is cos of 1 plus n into pi, we can write it as minus 1 to the power of 1 plus n divided by 1 plus n. First thing, then plus cos of 1 minus n into pi, you know, we'll get it as minus 1 to the power of 1 minus n divided by 1 minus n. Then minus, you know, I'm just multiplying with minus sign, minus 1 by 1 plus n minus 1 by 1 minus n. Now see, for my convenience, I'm writing them like this. You see, minus I naught by 2 pi into, I'm just trying to write, you know, these two terms which have 1 plus n as the denominator. You know, I'm writing those two together. So I'll get the LCM as 1 plus n. And what remains in the numerator, you see, minus 1 to the power of 1 plus n. When you have minus 1 to the power of 1 plus n, we can write it like this, you see, minus 1 into minus 1 to the power of n. If I can write it like this, you see, I can easily simplify it. So I'm writing it for my convenience. It is minus of minus 1 to the power of n, right? Minus of minus 1 into this is minus of minus 1 to the power of n. And here we are getting one more minus 1. Then plus, if you write the remaining two terms together by taking 1 minus n as the LCM, what happens to here? The same story, you see, minus 1 to the power of 1 minus n. It can be written as minus 1 into minus 1 to the power of n. So it is minus of minus 1 to the power of minus n minus 1. Right? Normally, you see, when you get you know, terms of this kind, we try to take, you know, what happens when n is even and what happens when n is odd. Just I'm taking it in a very similar way. Now, if n is, I think I see, I forget to tell you one point here. When you integrate this sign of 1 minus n, we got 1 minus n in the denominator. When you get 1 minus n in the denominator, this is valid only when n is not equals to 1. Right? That is valid only when n is not equals to 1. Then what happens when n is equals to 1? We need to calculate it separately again. right? Let us do that. But before that, you see, I'm just simplifying it by taking n as even. If n is even, then what happens to an? You see, an is equals to, there is minus I naught by 2 pi. See, when n is even, this minus 1 to the power of n becomes actually plus 1. So what remains there in the bracket? Minus 1 divided by 1 plus n. And here it is the same story, you see, when it is minus 1 to the power of minus n and n is even. So when it is minus 1 to the power of minus n, it also becomes plus 1. So here also it is minus 1 by 1 minus n. So we'll get it like this, you see, minus 2 divided by 1 plus n, then plus minus 2 divided by 1 minus n. I'm just bringing minus 2 out of this. When you bring minus 2 out of that, already there is a minus outside, you see. So we'll get it as I naught by 2 can also be cancelled, you see. If you want, you can write like this, 2 I naught by 2 pi. What remains here? 1 by 1 plus n plus 1 by 1 minus n. So it is equals to, if you take LCM now, I naught by 2 pi, it is equals to I naught by 2 pi, I'm sorry, I naught by pi. If you take now again LCM, 1 plus n into 1 minus n, you know, you will get it as 1 minus n square, and in the numerator we'll get these things, 1 minus n plus 1 plus n. So n can be cancelled here, you see. So we'll get this as what you call 1 plus 1, 2 I naught by 2 I naught by pi into 1 by 1 minus n square. So this is an when n is even. Now if n is odd and n not equals to 1, it is odd but not equals to 1, then what happens? Then an is equals to minus I naught by 2 pi. I'm just substituting n as odd now. It becomes then minus I naught by 2 pi. What happens to these things, you see? Now when n is odd, this minus 1 to the power of n becomes minus 1. Already here is a minus outside. Minus of minus 1, you know, it becomes plus 1. So we'll get it like this. 1, then again minus 1 here also. So we'll get it as simply 0. Then here also, when you take n as odd, minus 1 to the power of minus 1 is again minus 1 only. So minus of this minus 1, it is plus 1. And 1 minus 1, you know, here also it becomes 0. So therefore, it is simply 0 when n is odd. Therefore, an is equals to, I'm just writing it like this, you see, 2 I naught by pi into 1 by 1 minus n square when n is even, and it is equals to 0 when n is odd and n not equals to 1. But then what is a1? What happens when n is equals to 1? If n is equals to 1, let me just write this in the next slide so that we can use it properly. Now, if you take n is equals to 1, now see, when n is equals to 1, a1 it becomes is equals to 1 by pi into integration from 0 to pi. What it is actually this integration from 0 to 2 pi I of x into cos x dx. Right? When it is an, we write nx here. But when it is n is equals to 1, it becomes a1, and here it is cos x. So it is equals to 1 by pi into integration from 0 to pi. Within 0 to pi, the value of I of x is I naught sin x cos x plus in between pi and 2 pi, the value of I of x, I mean the function is 0. So I'm just writing it as 0. It is equals to, you can bring I naught out of that, I naught by pi into, we can also do one thing, you see, we can just, as we did in while calculating a naught, we have multiplied and divided it by 2, you see. In a very similar way, I'm also multiplying and dividing it by 2 here. So we'll get it as I naught by 2 pi into integration from 0 to pi 2 sin x cos x. So it can be written as I naught by 2 pi integration from 0 to pi 2 sin x cos x is sine 2x dx. So when you integrate that sine 2x, you know how much you'll get? I naught by 2 pi into, no. When you integrate sine 2x, you know, it is minus cos 2x with the limits from 0 to pi. So you can write minus outside, minus I naught by 2 pi into, when you substitute the limit, see, when you take x is equals to pi, it becomes cos 2 pi. Cos 2 pi value is 1, minus when you take x is equals to 0, it becomes cos 0. Cos 0 value is also 1. So we are getting even a1 as also 0. Right? So it means an exists only for even values. Even when n is equals to 1, an is becoming 0 for odd values. Right? Then we need to calculate now bn. Now consider bn is equals to 1 by pi into integration from 0 to 2 pi. How much it is? I of x into sine nx dx. So it is equals to 1 by pi into integration from, I'm just splitting this into two integrals. Integration from 0 to pi. Within this interval, I is I naught sine x into sine nx plus in the other half, you know, from pi to 2 pi, the integral is 0 dx. Right? Anyway, 0 into sine nx, right? Because it is 0 into sine nx. I'm just taking it as what you call 0 there. See, we did a small mistake here. You see, when you integrate sine 2x, what we get here actually it is cos 2x by 2, you see. Of course, you know, in either ways we are getting it as 0. That's a different story, but you should correctly write it. So here these become, you know, 1 by 2 minus 1 by 2. So it is 0. Correct? Fine. Now let's calculate bn. While calculating bn, you see, we need to evaluate this integral. I hope you should recall once more this formula. It is very much similar to, of course, you can multiply and divide it by 2. That's one thing you can do. And then it's just like 2 sine A sine B. Let me write that formula here. When it is 2 sine A sine B, how can we write it? It is equals to cos of A minus B. Am I correct? Cos of A minus B minus cos of A plus B. Right, now let's make use of this formula to rewrite this product. So it is equals to, there it is actually I naught by pi. Now see, I'm just trying to multiply and divide this by 2. So it becomes I naught by 2 pi. Then integration from 0 to pi, it becomes 2 sine x sine nx. Right, so when it is like sine A sine B, you know, A is equivalent to x, then B is equivalent to nx. So I'm using this formula. So it is cos of A minus B. When it is A minus B, it becomes x minus nx, correct? It becomes x minus nx. So we can take x common, you know. So it is 1 minus n into x. Plus similarly, sorry, minus cos of A plus B, x plus nx, which can be written as 1 plus n into x. Fine. This is equals to I naught by 2 pi. See what happens when you integrate this. When you integrate this cos function, we'll get it as sine of 1 minus n into x divided by 1 minus n minus, here also when you integrate this, sine of 1 plus n into x divided by 1 plus n. As we did earlier, you see, when you integrate this integration is valid only when n not equals to 1. Because you see, we have 1 minus n in the denominator. Then, I hope you see, you remember this. When you have this sine function after integrating, right? When you substitute the values here, you see, if you take x is equals to pi upper limit, this sine of 1 minus n into pi or sine of 1 plus n into pi. Because 1 minus n and 1 plus n both are integers. N is integer, you know. 1 minus n and 1 plus n both are integers then. So sine of integer times pi is obviously 0. Correct? So for upper limit pi, both the terms become 0. Then when you take x is equals to 0, lower limit, it becomes, you know, both the terms become sine 0. When they are zeros, when they are sine zeros, obviously their value is 0. That implies, you see, directly we can write the value of Bn as 0. This is because sine of 1 minus n into pi is equals to sine of 1 plus n into pi is equals to 0. Anyway, since they are zeros, we are taking the value of Bn as 0, but this is only for n not equals to 1. So we need to calculate the value of Bn when n is equals to 1. So if you take n is equals to 1, then B1 becomes, how much it is, you see, 1 by pi into integration from 0 to 2 pi I of x into, I'm just substituting n is equals to 1 here. So it is sine x. So it is equals to 1 by pi into integration from, I'm splitting it into two integrals. Anyway, the other half is 0, you see. So I'm writing it only from 0 to pi I naught sine x into again sine x. So it is I naught by pi into integration from 0 to pi sine x into sine x, sine square x. But for my convenience, I'm just multiplying and dividing it by 2. So it is I naught by 2 pi into 2 sine square x dx. When it is 2 sine square x, we can also write it as, I hope you remember, integration from 0 to pi, we can write it as 1 minus cos 2x. Correct? When you calculate now this, when you integrate this, you see, I naught by 2 pi into, how much you'll get here, you see, integration of 1, it is x minus integration of cos 2x, it is sine 2x divided by 2 with the limits from 0 to pi. Right? See, when you substitute the limits, see how much you'll get. Therefore, B1 is equals to, you can write this I naught by 2 pi as it is, into, when you substitute the upper limit x is equals to pi, it is pi, minus for x is equals to pi here, sine 2 pi you will get. Sine 2 pi is 0, right? So it is 0, not writing. Then when you take x is equal to 0, again, this term and even sine 0 is 0. So both become 0. So it is only this much. And you can cancel this pi, So this implies we'll get the value of B1 as only I naught by 2. So therefore, the Fourier series, if you substitute everything into this, f of x is equals to, see, we need to write it as a naught by 2. See how much we got a naught? A naught is this 2 I naught by pi. 2 I naught by pi divided by 2. 2 can be cancelled, So when you cancel that 2, we'll get it as I naught by pi plus summation. What we should take here, an into cos nx. When it is an, as you already seen, an exists only for even values. So I'm just writing like this, summation where n takes only even numbers, 2, 4, 6, and so on. An, how much is an, you see? This one, 2 I naught by pi, 2 I naught by pi into 1 by 1 minus n square into cos nx. Right, summation is only for this much, plus we should actually write summation bn sin nx. We should write actually bn sin nx, but bn is 0 for all, n not equals to 1. So we'll get only this much, b1, which is I naught by 2 into sin x, bn sin nx, but you are taking n is equal to 1. So we'll get it as I naught by 2 into sin x. So this is what you call the Fourier series expansion of this particular function. Right, find the half range sine series of f of x is equals to x into pi minus x in the interval 0 to pi. And hence you're asked to, verify this statement. We'll see that later, but see the question first. You are asked to find half range sine series. See, a few days ago, probably yesterday or day before yesterday, we were doing this problem, when you were given a function like this, x into 2 minus x. Understand, when it is x into 2 minus x, there the interval was 0 to 2. Look at that carefully. So this is a similar question actually. When it is x into pi minus x, the interval you will be given is 0 to pi. When you practice this question, automatically you can practice this, which is in arbitrary intervals, x into 2 minus x. When it is this function, the interval will be 0 to 2. So both are almost similar questions. Keep that in mind, and now let us try to find out this half range sine series. So the function what you are given is this. Given f of x is equals to x into pi minus x. Anyway, we are going to use this in integrations now. For convenience, let me also write pi x minus x square. Now, if you write the half range sine series of f of x is, when it is half range sine series, I hope you remember, we'll get series only with sine terms. So we'll get it like this, bn into sine nx. Because the interval is 0 to pi, I'm taking it like this, sine nx. Right? When it is an arbitrary interval, I'll take it another way, bn into sine nx. And what is bn here? You see where bn is equals to, it is 2 by pi integration from 0 to pi fx into sine nx dx. So let us just substitute the value of f of x here. It is equals to 2 by pi integration from 0 to pi. What is the function? I'm taking this pi x minus x square into sine nx dx. Right now we need to evaluate this integral. Since it is a product of two functions, we can use integration by parts. And also one function here is what you call an algebraic expression. Because it is an algebraic expression, I can use the idea of what you call Leibniz. So I'm using this way. First of all, I'm writing pi x minus x square as it is. Then when I integrate this sine nx, integration of sine nx is minus cos nx divided by n. Then minus, when you differentiate this, you see, when you differentiate this, we'll get it as pi minus 2x into, when you integrate this total function, it is minus sine nx divided by n square. Normally, when you integrate cos nx, we'll get sine nx by n. But there is already a minus 1 by n, so I've continued that. Then plus, we need to differentiate this pi minus 2x, you see. When you differentiate pi minus 2x, it is minus 2 into, when you integrate, minus is there already. When you integrate sine nx, we'll get again minus cos nx. So minus of minus, it becomes plus cos nx divided by n, but already there is n square, so we'll get it as n cube. That's how I can stop here. You see, when you differentiate minus 2, it is anyway 0. So I'm not continuing this with the limits here from 0 to pi. Now see, we need to substitute the limits. Anyway, before getting into substitution, one point you can recall, in these terms, you see, after integration, when you get this sine term, right, a term which involves sine function, if you just look at that, if you substitute the upper limit x is equals to pi, it becomes sine n pi. When it is sine n pi, its value is 0. And now if you take even lower limit x is equals to 0, it becomes simply sine 0. So for both upper limit and lower limit, because of this sine term, sine function, the second term will be 0 completely. I mean, when it is anyway 0, you can simply ignore it. I'm trying to say, you see, we can simply ignore this second term while substituting. Now, I'm just substituting in other terms. It is equals to 2 by pi. See how much you'll get. When you substitute x is equals to pi, it becomes, you see, pi square minus pi square. Pi square minus pi square, you see, it is 0. 0 into something, first term is 0. So while substituting the upper limit, you got first term as 0. Then second term, as we discussed, it is already 0. And in the third term, you see, there is a minus 2 into, here if you substitute x is equals to pi, how much you'll get, you see, cos n pi. Cos n pi value is minus 1 to the power of n divided by n cube. So this much you will get for pi, upper limit, minus, now if you take lower limit, x is equals to 0. See, we have x and x square here. When you take x is equal to 0, you'll get that as 0 and 0 into something. First term is 0. Second term is obviously 0. And in the third term, minus 2 into, when you take x is equals to 0, here it becomes cos 0. Cos 0 value is 1 by n cube. So these things, you'll get for both upper limit and lower limit. I'm just trying to simplify it like this. You see, 2 by pi into, what you have there, here it is minus 2 by n cube into minus 1 to the power of n. And here you see minus of this minus plus 2 by n cube. So we can take 2 by n cube common from them, you see. When you take 2 by n cube common, we'll get it as 4 by n cube pi into 1 minus 1 to the power of n. If you look at this carefully, we have the coefficient of minus 1 to the power of n as minus here. So I'm writing this term first and then that minus 1 to the power of n. We can write like this. Now, when you have this kind of expression, you know, we can take even and odd cases. When you take n as even, if you take n as even, minus 1 to the power of n is plus 1. Minus 1 to the power of n is plus 1. So we'll get it as 1 minus 1, you know, 0. Therefore, Bn is equals to 0 when n is even. Fine. When n is even, we are getting 0. Then when n is odd, what happens, you see? Here it is already 1 minus. When n is odd, this minus 1 to the power of n becomes again minus 1. So it is 1 plus 1. So 2 into there is a 4 already outside. So it is 8 by n cube pi when n is odd. Right, so we got clearly Bn now. Let us substitute everything into the formula. So to write the half range series, therefore Fx is equals to, I'm just substituting here, you see, summation, and you see here Bn exists only for odd values. So I'm taking n is equals to 1, 3, 5 and so on, only odd values, and Bn is how much? 8 divided by n cube pi into sine nx dx. Sorry, sine nx. That's the series. Now see, I'm just expanding it for convenience because we are also asked to prove something else. So to use that, what is actually f of x? The function what you are given, it is x into pi minus x is equals to, I'm writing, you see here, 8 by pi is actually independent of n. So I'm writing this aside, 8 by pi into, if you take now different values for n, when you take n is equals to 1, we'll get it as 1 by 1 cube into sine x. Then plus, if you take n is equal to 3, we'll get it as 1 by 3 cube into sine 3x. Then for n is equals to 5, you see, we'll get it as 1 by 5 cube into sine 5x and so on. See, this is the series you are getting. Look at the question carefully. If you compare them, there you see we have 1 cube, 3 cube, 5 cube, and here also we have 1 cube, 3 cube and 5 cube. That looks all right. But if you look at their coefficients, the coefficient of 1 cube is actually 1, and here the coefficient, I mean the product for 1 by 1 cube here is sine x. So if sine x becomes 1, that will be comfortable to us. Not only that, you see, along with this 1 by 3 cube, we have a negative sign. And here you see in product, for 1 by 3 cube, we have sine 3x. For whatever the value of x, we get sine x as 1. For the same value of x, now we should get sine 3x as minus 1. So we need one value of x for which sine x is positive and sine 3x is negative. Then again sine 5x is positive. We need to find one such value. And you see, if you recall, for what value of x sine is positive, I mean plus 1, sine pi by 2 is 1, you know. So if we take x is equals to pi by 2, here we'll get sine pi by 2 as 1, then sine 3 pi by 2 as minus 1, then again sine 5 by 2, sine 5 pi by 2, it is plus 1. So let us proceed by taking x is equals to pi by 2. Right? Take x is equals to pi by 2. Right? See, because these two are equal, when we take x is equal to pi by 2, we should take pi by 2. We should substitute pi by 2 on either sides. Therefore, you know what you'll get here. You see, if you take x is equals to pi by 2, if you substitute x is equals to pi by 2, therefore what you have, here it is pi by 2 and here it is pi minus pi by 2. So what you'll get there, you see, pi by 2 into, here also it is pi by 2 is equals to 8 by pi into, when you substitute here, we'll get them as 1 by 1 cube into, I'm just writing it for your convenience, sine pi by 2, then plus 1 by 3 cube into sine 3 pi by 2 plus 1 by 5 cube into sine 5 pi by 2 and so on. So it is equals to, here it is how much you see, pi square by 4. I'm also sending 8 by pi to the other side. Pi square by 4 into, it becomes pi by 8 now. When you send 8 by pi to this side, into, how much you'll get here, you see, 1 by 1 cube plus, we'll get sine 3 pi by 2 as negative, you know, minus 1 by 3 cube. Then again, sine 5 pi by 2 is plus. So 1 by 5 cube and so on. And you see, that's what you're asked to prove, in fact. So therefore, if you just write this once, we'll get it like this. 1 by 1 cube, I'm just writing this side first, 1 by y cube minus 1 by 3 cube minus, plus 1 by 5 cube plus, or minus you will get actually, minus and so on, is equals to, if you multiply them, pi into pi square, it is pi cube divided by 8 4 ja, it is 32. So like that, by taking a particular value to x, we can find out, you know, this kind of deductions. So this is a half range Fourier series, sine series, and hence the deduction.